Well, welcome back to another edition of Coffee Break with the Mayor. This is your Mayor President, Sharon Weston Broome, and thank you for joining me on my new podcast. We've had some very interesting guests, and we still have more guests to come, but I am so delighted today to have as our guest Dr. Kelvin Jones. You know him from music. You know him from being the band director. Is that at LSU? And so thank you so much for joining me on this podcast.
Happy to be here. Sorry, maybe the bar has been lowered a little bit.
No,
you
it has
now
not.
You have me in here.
I don't know if you know this, but the mayor loves music.
Oh, no way.
The mayor loves music. I have several playlist on my
nice.
Spotify, and I also grew up playing classical piano.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
No, you didn't. A little known fact.
We gotta put that out there.
No,
you know?
don't put it out there
Benefit
because
concert.
I haven't practiced in a long time.
It's like riding a bike, right?
Yeah. No, not with music. You know, I was one of those individuals that your parents said you need to take piano lessons, and my heart wasn't really in it. And I think I suffered from more fear and anxiety from piano recitals than anything
like
else in my life.
My wife had the teacher that had the ruler, and if you play the wrong
I
note,
was
she
just
hit it.
like, so it was not. So when I became a senior in high school, I told my parents I'm done with taking piano, and I had started off when I was like 6 or 7 years old. Mm-hmm. So I still know how to read music.
Yeah, you gotta pick that back up.
Yeah, but I'm going to ask you a question that everyone asks in the city of Baton Rouge. Yeah. We had a joke about this the other day in a meeting with young professionals. What high school did you go to?
I went to high school from 9th grade and half of my 10th grade year at Bel Air High School here in East Baton Rouge Parish.
And then from there?
Then from there, we moved to Hawaii, Oahu. My parents, my dad was in the military, the Marines. And so went to Hawaii, graduated high school from there. Random fact is when I was there at that time, I was there at the same time as this artist named Peter Hernandez. He goes by the stage name Bruno Mars. But we were out there at the same time.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Talk about a small world.
Yeah, my best friend's girlfriend at the time sang with him at the Polynesian Culture Center. We used to call him like Hawaiian Elvis and all that. All the things he's doing now, he was doing back then.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would love to go to a Bruno Mars concert.
He doesn't disappoint.
Yeah, but, you know, they don't give you that kind of salary as a mayor to afford one of those Bruno Mars tickets.
But I think if you play piano, you know what I mean? The door's open, right? He's going to leave the door wide open for you. You know, he has a whole song about it.
Yeah, right. So let's talk about your music journey, though.
Sure.
What led you on your music journey?
So it's unique. So my grandfather was a music teacher in Mississippi. He's actually the first African-American director to receive what they call all ones in North Mississippi. There's a whole story behind that, but he was the first to kind of break that barrier there. But he played trombone. He played with Ray Charles, Aretha Franklin, James Brown, Ike and Tina Turner. He subbed for Earth, Wind & Fire's band. And he was a band director, but he was always telling me to not pursue being a band director because of the time and commitment it takes to really have success. So I kind of grew up in his band room from the age of 5, growing up, and then 10th grade year, it's that crossroads of what are you going to do with your life? And my uncle told me, like, find something you can wake up every day excited to do. And I remember I went home and prayed about it. Then I was like, I love people and I love music. I'm going to be a band director, you know? So contrary to what Papa wanted me to do. And so from there, received a scholarship to Jackson State. Was in everything involved there, the Sonic Boom of the South, orchestra, jazz band, all the things was a part of the scholarship. And then LSU, did my graduate work there, taught at West Feliciana High School, built up the program out there, got hired on at LSU, worked the way up to be director of Tiger Band. So it all started just when I was younger, just kind of being immersed within that vibe.
So what's on your playlist?
Who everything. I'm naturally a funk baby, so I can listen to George Clinton
Oh, I
and P
love
Funk
George
all
Clinton.
day.
But see, I'm a baby boomer, and when I talk about people like that, people are like, huh?
Oh no, that's bad. Old school Rick James, Street Dreams. I can kind of geek out with funk. Is kind of my baby. Now I've been listening to a lot of just gospel, new word gospel, Maverick City All
Oh yeah.
Stars and Chandler Moore and all that. I listen to a little bit of everything. It's a very random playlist, but my go-to when I need to pick her up is funk.
Yeah, so my playlist is so funny because they're very similar. I have I call my gospel playlist. I put it under different categories, and so like I have one that says 2023 Good News Mix.
Ah, I like
Then I
that.
have one that says peace, and that's a little bit more
Yeah,
calm. Then I have what I call my message music, which is Marvin
I like
Gaye, and
that.
Nina Simone,
Yeah.
and I listen to that. And then I just put some Christian jazz on my playlist
You teaching me something.
recently.
I didn't know this thing called
Yeah,
Christian
yeah,
jazz.
yeah. But I love, Kirk Franklin is coming to New Orleans
Yeah.
in
The
November.
reunion tour, I think they
Yeah,
call it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So unfortunately, I have another commitment, but I would love to see him.
You should just move the concerts. It works
Yeah,
for you.
yeah. Invite him to come to Baton Rouge. Absolutely. So, what about music today? There are a lot of different conversations around music. In fact, we had someone who recently did a panel discussion, a musician, a rap artist, in our Safe, Hopeful, Healthy initiative, which is our public safety initiative, which is engaging the community. And so the rap artist evidently was talking about, I guess, the pros and cons of rap lyrics and the impact that they have on society today.
Yeah. No, you asked my opinion on that
Yes.
on the record here. No, I agree. Like I think with anything, it's like of dosage.
Yes.
It's like if you eat candy all day, every day, right? That has a different kind of effect. And I think I have my personal opinions about rap music right now, which probably the same opinions my parents had when I was younger, and before then. But I do feel like it's when that's the only thing people are consuming, and it's all kind of one message of murder, kill, drugs, and it kind of glorifies this. If you want to have success in this track, you have to do these things to sell a record or to be considered popular and all that. Then there are issues with that, especially when you come from societies or dynamics that don't have that preventive measure. Like I was listening to like NWA growing up and all, but my mom and dad would be like, "Hey, we're not doing all. There's a limit to
Yeah,
that."
yeah.
So when you don't have
Balance.
that filter, exactly, I can see that being too kiltered. Because there were, even back in my day, there was Fight the Power. There
Yeah,
was,
yeah, yeah.
Say No to Drugs. There were those initiatives that I don't see as much now. Because I guess they don't find it cool or doesn't sell records or whatever it is. I don't know. But I definitely can't see too much of that being an issue.
Well, I really think, Dr. Jones, that brings us to another topic, which is the power of music. Music has a lot of power to it. And I'm not talking about, aggressive power necessarily, but the power to bring healing, the power to soothe.
1,000%.
So as a PhD in music, tell us a little bit about the power of music.
Oh, no, it's an emotional heartstring. Like, there's a reason that businesses have music on the radio, in the mall, when you're shopping, every music's involved in everything. And then the groups that are really good about it, they're strategic on what music they play, when they play it, how they play it. Think about what you just said earlier. You have a feel-good music, message music, right? So it has those ways to permeate that. And even taking it from like here in Baton Rouge and the culture we have, 'cause I heard you talk about this at our church about like the LSU Southern game and how maybe years from now there's going to be a documentary of the behind the scenes to get that to happen, but it's like for that to take place, that was rooted in music, right? It was rooted in, okay, here's the song Cupid Shuffle, and regardless if you were in that stadium at that game, regardless if you're white, black, brown, Muslim, Christian, atheist, like everybody was together. There weren't color lines, I'm from North Baton Rouge, South. It was, we're here together and everybody's there having a good time. So music has a way to kind of bring unity.
Yes.
That can get to the point of community.
You're so right. And in fact, when we have music events, we see the fabric of Baton Rouge together. But I will tell you, I look forward to a documentary being done on that LSU Southern game and that halftime show.
Oh, yeah.
It was so powerful. If you could have felt like, I know you did, but I mean, when I saw that happen, Love 225, it took me over the top. I mean, I was like, yes, I was screaming. It was just something, that just superseded the athletics of that day. It was all about
and even the
that
cultural
halftime.
divides that happened. Oh, I don't want to see LSU do something with Southern, or we're Southern, it's a jukebox. There's all these just outside entities, but it's like, we do music, and these are 18-year-old or 24-year-olds that may work together. Like, we're way more similar than we're different. So, totally.
Yeah. So, listen, I know you are in the next season of your life, and a lot of that is dedicated. Not that you weren't already dedicated, but accelerating your dedication. How about that?
Yeah, I like that.
To your family.
Yeah, and because it goes back to kind of what I said earlier with like my grandfather. Like, I've seen like with my grandmother's stories, and my grandfather gone months at a time, and then this year alone, like I've been very blessed and fortunate. But there was a moment where there was a 3-month stretch I had to spend one weekend at home. Whereas in LA for the Grammys, or working with other bands across the country, or being out the country, it was like, I have to like find this work-life balance, or like, what are my priorities, right? And I went to church and they had a men's ministry thing, and it just resonated. Like, if I died tomorrow, like, I'm gonna have a full inbox, and my job's probably gonna be advertised for somebody else before my funeral. So it just can't be like, okay, I'm grinding and working hard. And I love what I do. The kids are great, but it was just that, what is that purpose? And I think I'm a spiritual guy, and I just feel like my spirit was kind of leading me in a certain direction, to where now there are opportunities where I can impact thousands of students doing different things. So I'm just walking kind of in my godly assignment. But no, it was kind of this thing of, I got to rededicate some things in my life.
I think we all, and as you know, we go to the same church, so we share the same beliefs in terms of the spiritual significance of our lives and how that drives our purpose. And I couldn't have said it better, because I often say, I'm very thankful to be the mayor of Baton Rouge. I feel it's a privilege. I feel it's fulfilling my purpose and my calling. But you have to have balance, because at the end of the day, just like you said, my inbox will be full. The list of people calling will still be there. The issues and the challenges will be there. But if I'm out, if I'm gone, if eternity calls, then people will say, oh, Mayor Broom was such a wonderful person. We really loved her being our mayor. She was great. And they'll do that for a little while. But then, even maybe the next day or the day after, who are we going to get to replace her? Who are we going to get to replace her? And so I think about that, and it helps me keep things in perspective.
Exactly.
And that life is so much more than positions and titles that we hold.
Exactly.
And so I get it. I know you get it. And so what words of wisdom do you have for our listeners on this podcast? You've already given us a lot of words. These are closing words of wisdom.
I gotta say, I hope I ain't dropping the bar. But like I said, I'm naturally a spiritual guy, so just finding your purpose, and that could be fluid. That could be one day you're looking at doing one thing, and it may change the next. But I go back to what my uncle told me, like, finding something you feel passionate about, because there's something within this community, especially in Baton Rouge, that you can add value to. And it's not necessarily being transactional when you do things. What are ways you can be transformative and transformational? How can you aid things and give back in the community? You're not trying to get money back or anything like that, but you're just sowing good seeds that hopefully reap benefits on the back end there. Because I feel like this huge thing of karma has this way of being reciprocal. The more you kind of give out, the more you're going to get back, and you'll be blessed before you even know it.
I agree. I often say, what you make happen for others, God will make happen for you. Well, thank you. This has been so refreshing.
That was cool. Piano extraordinaire here.
The only thing we didn't have was some music in the background, and we may lay down.
There you go. We had your piano recital,
No, not yet. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. One thing about me, I don't deceive myself. I try to. Well, thank you so much for joining me with Coffee Break with the Mayor. And we wish you and pray Godspeed for everything that you
thank you.
do. Listen, join us next time for Coffee Break with the Mayor. I look forward to all of you joining me every month as we grab our cups and have a coffee break with the Mayor.